welcome to Talibah's CHO, Bioelectric Foods and Herbs. I'm your host, Talibah Ndidi. I'm going to share with you some simple, delicious, bioelectric, vegan, and live food dishes. But before we go to the kitchen, I just want to share a little bit about my background and what inspired me to do the show. I'm a natural health educator and herbalist. My companies are Urtherbs and Divine Wombs for Life. I've been in the healing arts for over 26 years. I was born and raised in Louisiana on a natural diet from the foods we grew in our yard. My father was a chef in the military, so he taught all of us how to cook, including my mom, and we never ate out. That wasn't even a part of our lifestyle, like going to a fast food restaurant or a restaurant period. We didn't do that. My mom cooked every day. My mom and dad cooked every day. And on Sundays, my mom would make this elaborate meal, like fried chicken with rice dressing, cornbread dressing, cornbread, collard greens or string beans, some kind of greens, and a dessert, like probably sweet potato pie or lemon meringue pie, all from scratch. So we didn't grow up eating just any old kind of food. We ate some good, natural foods that grew in our yard, and we ate fairly healthy. So then I moved to Los Angeles in my early 20s to continue my education, and I had the pleasure of working with some amazing herbalists in Los Angeles. So I want to share a little bit about working with these herbalists and how they influenced me to be the herbalist that I am today. The first herbalist that I had the pleasure of meeting and working with was Kamal Thabiti. He was a professor at Cal State LA, and I used to live across the street from Cal State LA, and I would go to the Pan-African Resource Center every day to read a book and just hang out with the people that was going to school. And everybody thought I was attending Cal State LA, but I was going to school at Los Angeles Trade Tech and getting my degree in fashion design. But I was at Cal State LA every day in the Pan-African Resource Center reading books and hanging out with Kamal Thabiti. And Kamal saw how a group of us was real interested in reading about world history and African history, and he kind of took us under his wings and started these private study groups. He taught us about the Dogon history of reading the stars. He taught us about the Egyptians and all the healing arts, how our ancestors had to go to school for 42 years. So I learned all about Kundalini, chakras, metaphysics, breath work. I learned all of this from Kamal. He really taught us a lot. He would always teach us, how herbs was a part of our history. And he would always, say, you should be drinking some chaparral, or you should get you some mullein or some blessed thistle. So he would always drop these little nuggets of herbs on us. So I kind of became intrigued with that. So I wanted to know more about herbs. So as we would continue to study groups, I was always asking all about herbs. And he really taught us a lot, in perspective of how the herbs work with our bodies, and that it was natural, and we didn't have to use pharmaceuticals. So Kamal introduced me to herbs. And then I had the pleasure of working with Russell Harrison. At the time, he was the community herbalist. Everybody went to Russell. So I had the pleasure of working with him side by side and learning the power of herbs. I saw how he would make these herbal baths for his clients. I would travel with him. We'd go to different states, and I was assisting him, and he make this herbal bath for them, and they get in there, and it'd be hot as they can stand it. And then he would drain that, and then just dump ice all in the tub and cover them up, and just to bring their bodies through these different extremes and giving them the herbal formulas at the same time, which was powerful. I really saw how herbs work under different extremes. So I thank you, Russell, for showing me the power of herbs. And then I had the pleasure of meeting Akadama, working at Akadama Herbs in the lab with my spiritual brother. Aka showed me the mystical side of herbs, how to use herbs in ceremony. Because we would travel up to Mahutasan, which is like, up outside of Santa Barbara, and we would go to Mahutasan, like to the bear dance and whatever native festival that was going on, and they would use the herbs in ceremony. So we got to see hands-on how herbs worked in the mystical realm in healing the body. So I thank you, Aka, for introducing me to the mystical side of herbs and, developing that intimate relationship with herbs. Like George Washington Carver, the book he wrote, The Secret Life of Plants. George Washington Carver had a very intimate relationship with plants and herbs. So I kind of learned that, working with Akadama in the lab and learning how to formulate herbs, really mastering that and understanding what herbs can be mixed with, understanding the dosage of mixing herbs. So I learned formulation, close hand with Aka. So I want to thank you, brother, for that. And also I had the pleasure of working with Dr. B. So at the time, Dr. B, he was like known for his parasite cleanse. Everybody was doing that parasite cleanse. And working with him, after preparing, the products, and we would go deliver the products to his clients, he would put the products in the trunk right next to the speakers. And I was like, why is he always putting them right next to the speaker? I was like, maybe he don't want them to fall over or whatever. I don't know. But what it turned out to be is that he wanted the sound of the music that he would play to be infused with the herbs, like the vibration of that sound going into the herbs to bring harmony and, let that settle and be with the herbs. And it wasn't just any music he was playing his music, because he is a musician and a producer. I'm sure you've heard the song back in the day, Egyptian Lover. That's Dr. B. He's a phenomenal, great musician. He could play any instrument you put in front of him. So, but he taught me how to infuse the vibration of music and bringing that harmony into the herbs. So I still use those techniques today. So I just wanted to, share with you a few of the amazing people that have touched my lives in the healing arts and influenced me to be the herbalist that I am today. So what inspired me to do the show is food, literally. Because nowadays food is really being used as a weapon. That's how I feel. Because all the foods out there are either processed foods or genetically modified, meaning they're not natural, didn't grow from Mother Earth. And God didn't create them, because we have a lot of hybrids out there. So in seeing, that we don't really have much of natural choice, a natural food choice, and the little choice that we do have, it's leading us to go back to nature. It's leading us to go back to the basics and eating only for nutrients. Eating to supply our body with enough nutrients to be healthy. And I've had the pleasure, when I was taking my nutritionalist class in college, my professor had us get the book Fast Food Nation. It's a very good read. I encourage everybody to get that book and read it. I know they have the documentary out there, but the documentary is not going to tell you everything that's in the book. So get the book, because the book talks about the flavor industry. And the flavor industry is the reason why we have so many processed foods now. Like the flavor industry can make anything smell like anything. They can make a piece of paper smell like a hamburger. They can make a piece of paper, they can make some chemicals smell like strawberries. So that's why you see on the labels of things now, it says natural flavors. They're natural synthetic flavors, but they're not coming from the actual fruit or vegetable that they say is coming from. They're coming from a laboratory, from the same people who make perfume and colognes. It's the same industry. It's called the flavor industry. But when you read the book Fast Food Nation, it's going to break it down and explain to you, the whole reason how that came into be. And you're going to be surprised. It's because of McDonald's. Them fries. So check the book out. And that was the reason why I chose to do this show, because I want to show people that we do have a choice of eating natural, wholesome foods. bioelectric foods that's going to give us nutrients. So by me, showing you that it can be done and that it tastes great, it's delicious. Like the food that we eat as vegans is delicious foods. Because I know a lot of people think because you're vegan or a vegetarian, your food don't taste good. Well, hang out with me in this kitchen and you're going to see, and you're going to be able to taste some delicious bioelectric foods. So I thank you for, this opportunity, and I hope that this can be informative. And please take me to your kitchen and try these delicious recipes. So let's go to the kitchen. All right, lovely souls, we're in the kitchen now. And this is what we're going to be preparing. We're going to be preparing cabbage, a little stir-fried cabbage with some kale. I like to mix it, but we got a red pepper, a green pepper, and some green onions, and we have a teaspoon of salt. We have a teaspoon of cumin, teaspoon of basil, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of turmeric. I might throw a couple of these basil leaves in there, just give it that freshness to add with the dry bay leaves. But this is what we're going to be scrambling up in the pots. So let's get busy. Take it to the stove. All right, so we're gonna have washed them, shredded them from I took the middle stems out, so I'll roll them up that way I can get everything at the same time. Just kind of work your way and make it happen. Chop it up. Got that, and then I'm going to chop our green onions. I've always cooked with green onions. It gives you a good flavor to your food. And I think I'm going to do half of this cabbage. This bell pepper. Try not to get any of the seeds in your food because those seeds will cause gas. Let's head to the stove. And I'm just adding everything to the pot. I put the cabbage first, and I put the kale, and then I put the seasoning on top, like the vegetables on top. So you get everything in. Alright, and then I'm going to add like a cup and a half of water just to start off with. And if you notice, I didn't use any oil, because you really don't need oil to cook unless it just is something that you frying. But if you want to use oil, you can use grapeseed oil. And then I'm just going to put the seasonings in. I would let it, get a little hot, and then after it gets hot and steaming, I'll put my top on it, and once it starts steaming, then I'll stir it. Alright, so we'll let that sit for about 10 minutes once it starts steaming, and we'll be back. Alright, so we're back to check up on our vegetables. It is a little soft and steaming now, so I'm going to mix all the spices in. As you can see, mix it all in, and if you need to add water, you can. I think I'm going to add a little more water just so that the seasoning can be dispersed all around. Just mixing everything together. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's all about presentation with me. I love color. I gotta have like some color with my food. I don't know what that's all about, but I like it. At the end of the day, it's all about how it tastes, really. Alright, so I'm gonna get some more water. I'm gonna add a little more water so my seasonings can be saturated just right. I'll be right back. I'm only adding 4 ounces of water. And we're going to let this little dish right here simmer down, cook down for about 20 minutes. And it'll be ready. It'll be ready to eat. 20 minutes. That's what I love about vegetables. You don't have to cook them that long. We're going to let this simmer. And we'll be back. Alright, let's check on our cabbage. Ah, look at that. Nice and pretty, colorful. And it's done. So, you know, cooked real good and seasoned real good. So now you can enjoy your New Year's cabbage. Alright, let's dig in. Alright, so I soaked my black eyed peas overnight. As you can see, they swelled up. That's how you know they're ready. And we're just going to drain the water off of them. Drained all the water out. And I'm going to cut up bell pepper, onion. I'm going to use a shallot with the black eyed peas just to give it a good little flavor. So that's what I'm going to cut up now. And we'll use the same seasonings. Salt, sea salt, cumin. I will use some oregano and basil. I'm going to use a fresh basil leaf and black pepper. If you want to add cayenne pepper, you can. I just like the black pepper flavor. And if you want to add, other things to your black eyed peas like mushrooms, I would suggest portobello mushrooms. I don't really cook with mushrooms. I used to, but I don't anymore. I just, I've eliminated a lot of things from my diet. I'm all about nutrients now. It's not much. It's nutrients and flavor. That's about it. And by cooking with bell peppers, green onions, that gives your food a whole nother flavor. The fresh vegetables, these are fresh vegetables, opposed to the dry spices. The dry spices are good too, but sometimes having the fresh bell peppers in there, the fresh green onions, and the fresh onions, it makes it very tasty. So that's really the key to cooking, is your spices. I grew up in Louisiana, and my dad had me chop up green onions, bell peppers, and yellow onions, like a bucket full of them, and we would keep them in the freezer because that's what we used with every meal. Even though those were the base vegetables seasonings, we still added salt, pepper, and whatever other seasoning we wanted in there, spice we wanted. But that's what I grew up doing. Like, my dad taught us all how to cook, even my mom, even though my mom's food tastes better than my dad's. I don't know why is that. Mama food always tastes better, but dad taught us all how to cook. So we would have me chop up all the onions and the bell peppers and all that stuff, and we'd put it in a bucket, big ice cream buckets back in the day, the gallon size, with the lid on it. Put it in the freezer. When we needed it, we take it out, and that was our seasoning. Alright, so let's add this to, we're going to add the black eyed peas to the pot and with the ingredients, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we have the black eyed peas with just water. I only added water, and I didn't fill it all the way up to the top. I stopped like about an inch above the peas. That's how much water I put in there. And I'm going to let this boil, because what I'm going to do is a little secret how you take out, because they say beans give you gas and stuff like that, but to alleviate the gas, it's really that starch. So we're going to let it boil, and when it comes to a boil, I'm going to put some baking soda in there, and the baking soda is going to fizz all that starch out of it, and then we're going to rinse that off, and then we're going to come back, and then we'll add our seasonings. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, now our black-eyed peas is boiling. As you can see, the fizz, all this starch. So I'm just going to take a little tablespoon of baking soda and see how it's fizzing. It's fizzing. You just stir that for a little while and let it fizz. Alright, I got that fresh water in there, and now I'm adding the bell peppers and the shallots and the green onions, and then I'm going to add my seasonings. Fresh leaf, just one, and stir and let that cook for about, I'll say 25 to about 20 to 25 minutes, because the beans soaked overnight, so they're soft, so it's not going to take that long. You can add some oil, some grapeseed oil if you like. I'm not. Prefer to just let these seasonings just sink in, and we'll be back. We're going to cover that. Cover it. Let it breathe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and it'll be done. Alright, so we're going to check on our black-eyed peas. Now that they are starting to boil, I'm going to take the top off. I'm not going to seal it tight completely when I put the top back. And then sometimes you can smash the beans, the sweet peas, up against the back of the pot. See how I do that? Just so some of the flavor can come out of the bean and mix in with the seasoning. Smash a little bitty of them. Give it that good little taste. So you see they're soft. So it's about another 15 minutes and we're done. Alright, I'm not going to put the top all the way back. I'm just going to let it sit like that. So this segment is the raw segment. For those of you who eat live food, you can have purple cabbage and pineapple. A 2-wonder juice mix. So we're going to cut this, and then juice it. Alright, so we're going to cut the cabbage. I don't really need a lot of it. I mean, it all depends on how much juice you want. I'm just going to go probably for a glass or two. So this is all I'm going to juice. Cabbage. And then this pineapple. You can just like pull the top off, twist it off. Like, let me get a grip. Twist it off. And cut however you want to cut. I like to start from the top. I use a bigger knife and work my way down. Get a bowl, put the pineapple in, cut around the middle part. For measurement purposes, you can do a cup of pineapples. We'll do the cup. I'll use the bowl a little later. So we'll do a cup of pineapples. Just cut around the center part. I love pineapples. Pineapples are a good, more of a good enzyme. They help break down the foods and stuff that need to be broken down. So pineapples will do it. That is the key. And you know, if you have a baby and your baby or a child, a toddler, have a fever, what you can do is puree some pineapple, put it in the blender, and give it to your child, and that will help bring that fever down immediately, because the enzymes help push all that bacteria out and allow the fever to subside. You know, get rid of that stuff. So you got a cup, and then we have this much of the cabbage. You can add more cabbage if you want, but this is all what I'm going to add. So let's get to juicing. Just so you can see the juicer, that's the top part. I'm going to be putting the cabbage and the pineapples in there, but I just want you guys to see the juice coming out. Alright, where is my container? It's going to come out there. And I like to strain mine, so I'll show you. You can use a nut seed bag to strain if you want. But, you know, it's up to you. Good old juice. Cabbage pineapple, purple cabbage pineapple. You can use a green cabbage if you like. I usually do a green cabbage with ginger. That's going to be on one of my shows. That'll be one of my videos. But today I wanted to do purple because I wanted some color. But like I said, you can use a nut bag and just squeeze it out even faster. I just don't feel like dealing with the nut bag right now. But you get the gist of it. So you just strain it. Cheers! Happy New Year's! Oh my stars. It's delicious. Enjoy! And there's the final product. Your black-eyed peas, your cabbage with kale, Lacenta kale, and your purple cabbage with pineapples juiced for you live foodies. So enjoy your meal. I hope you like it. Please share with your family and friends, and come back and join me for the next episode. This was our New Year's Day episode of Black Eyed Peas, bringing in the new year with black eyed peas and cabbage. So I want to thank you for watching Talibah's CHO. Yes, I did say CHO, C-H-O. That is an acronym for carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's what the body is made up of, so that's what we should be eating. Electrical foods, bioelectrical foods, and herbs. Thank you for watching Talibah's CHO.